Welcome back to Retirement Coffee Talk with Sharice Rivers at Zinnia Wealth. Online, you can find us at zinniawealth.com. While you're there, tool around a little bit. Find out more about Sharice and Zinnia Wealth. We have a lot of great resources for you on our website. If you go to the media tab, you can hear our podcast. You can hear lots of interviews. All of that is right there. If you want to hear past shows, it's all there for you. There's also an education tab. It says useful guides. There's all sorts of things there you can download about Social Security and pensions and 401ks and women in investing, all sorts of different things that you can use as a resource right there. It's all on our website at zinniawealth.com. All right, the people at Mass Mutual did a study and a poll and a test, actually, about Social Security. Put a bunch of people in a room and said, okay, 13 true-false questions about Social Security. Here we go. How did they do? 78% of people, near retirees, got a D or an F in the Social Security test.
Not surprised.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you, when people come in to see you, this is a part of the income conversation. That's income coming in. Do people know a lot about Social Security, or is it a big education curve that we've got to talk through?
Social Security is boring. Nobody cares. They just want their check, and I want it now. Give it to me now, right? That's what we think. My grandpa, my dad, they took it at 62. So by golly, I'm going to take it at 62 because that was surely the right practice, right? And so you pay into your FICA taxes. This is how we get our Social Security checks in the future. And all you know is that one day you're going to get your money, hopefully, right? Mm-hmm. And depending on how much debt our government goes into. No, I do feel like we're solvent enough to get through the next 30 years. But I will say there are strategies when it comes to claiming your Social Security. You know, if you claim Social Security at age 62, you're taking a penalty to do that. You're not getting 100% of the benefit that you worked the last 30 to 40 years.
So to put that in numbers for me. So for instance, we're talking late baby boomers here. If your retirement age is 67 and you went to full retirement age and you were going to get $3,000 a month, if you were to file at 62, how much of a difference would that make? $500 a month? $700 a month?
Like 25%.
It'd be a pretty big hit, wouldn't it?
Yes, it's a huge hit. And so you got to really consider, does that make sense? Because if you and your spouse do that, remember, when one of you pass away, of the two Social Security checks, you get to keep only the largest one. So if one of you is getting $2,500 and the other one's getting $2,000 a month, you get to keep the largest one, whoever's the surviving spouse. But what if one of you waited till full retirement age at 66 or 67 to collect, and that $2,500 was now $3,000, for example? Mm-hmm. Well, when that first spouse passes away, you get the higher of the two checks. You're getting that $3,000, so you're getting more. And sometimes that's a valuable reason for one of you to collect at 62 and not get your entire benefit you're entitled to, and one of you wait to collect at age 67 for full retirement age, because maybe there isn't a pension later on, or maybe if there is a pension, only 50% passes to your spouse. So you want to make sure you're not leaving your spouses financially destitute if you pass away. So there has to be some thinking and some planning involved when it comes to claiming Social Security. It's just not, hey, I contributed to FICA, I get what I'm owed. Remember, if we're married, we're trying to protect the spouse that's still in the house later on. And it's really dependent on what you also saved and what's still going to be sitting there if you've passed away, or if we go through long-term care, we spend our assets down. So we have to look at all those hazards before we claim, because when you go to Social Security, they are not allowed to give you advice. I don't know if you know that, Randy, but they are not legally allowed to give you advice. So therefore, you're not going to get the advice you need. Therefore, this is why you come into Zinnia Wealth Management and work with one of the advisors, because we will advise you on the best strategy. Whether you take it or not is up to you, right? And then on top of that, what if you're still working? You're like, I love my job, Sharice. I'm pulling in 50 or 80 grand a year, and I don't want to stop what I'm doing. And maybe you're 67. Well, maybe you don't collect your Social Security till a little bit later, because you might say, I'm going to retire at 69. Well, do you know from full retirement age, that's around 66 and 67, all the way to age 70, you get delayed retirement credits, about 8% every year. You are getting extra compounding bonuses by delaying taking Social Security. So that could be also another reason to delay taking Social Security to 68 or 69. But by 70, you cannot delay anymore. You have to take it, right?
Well, that's the deal. You have the options. You can take it early. You can take it late. You can take it at your full retirement age. As you were talking about this, Charisse, I read an article this week, and I know you kind of like Susie Orman. And Susie Orman put a thing out this week about 5 Social Security facts that take the fear out of all of these headlines. And just a couple of them. She says, look, Social Security is not going to run out of money. As long as there's paychecks, there's money coming out, it'll be funded. It may go down. The benefit may go down, but 75% is better than nothing, she says. She also says if they raise the retirement age, it will very likely not affect you right now who is in retirement. We're talking about people who are 40 and 30, and those are the people who are going to probably be affected by this. So she said, I know that there's some scary stuff out there, but relax. It's still there for you. Let's make the most of it. And that's, I think, what we need to do is have that meeting, Charisse, and say, how can we maximize this money for you, even if it does go back 25%?
Listen, retirement isn't about, portfolios and the top stock that you can put in your portfolio. It's about protecting what you've already built. That starts with a Social Security check. Then it starts with your market risk, then long-term care and taxes and fee management. All this goes into play when creating a retirement plan. And if you are looking for that retirement planner to help you take the guessing work out of what's going to happen in the next 30 years, then we encourage you to come in and get our portfolio x-ray and our written income plans and our tax analysis.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Coffee Talk podcast. If you have questions or would like to begin the process of building a tailored retirement plan, call Zinnia Wealth at 833-368-3680 or find us online at zinniawealth.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Zinnia Wealth Advisory, LLC, a registered investment advisor. The firm only conducts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded from registration requirements. Registration is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. Insurance products are offered through Zinnia Wealth Management, LLC, Florida license L078655, and Charisse Rivers, Florida license P037744. Zinnia Wealth Advisory, LLC, and Zinnia Wealth Management, LLC are affiliated entities. The information presented is believed to be current. It should not be viewed as personalized investment advice. All expressions of opinion reflect the judgment of the presenter on the date of the podcast and are subject to change. The information presented is not an offer to buy or sell or a solicitation of any offer to buy or sell any of the securities discussed. You should consult with a professional advisor before implementing any of the strategies discussed. Any legal or tax information provided in this podcast is general in nature. Always consult an attorney or tax professional regarding your specific legal or tax situation. Any client experience discussed on this show are unique to that client. Annuity and life insurance guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. If you withdraw money from or surrender your contract within a certain time after investing, the insurance company may assess a surrender charge. Withdrawals may be subject to tax penalties and income taxes. Persons selling annuities or other insurance products receive compensation for these transactions. These commissions are separate and distinct from fees charged for advisory services. Insurance products also contain additional fees and expenses. Social Security rules and regulations are subject to change at any time. Always consult with your local Social Security office before acting upon any information provided herein. References to specific investments should not be construed as being past specific recommendations. The returns for various indices discussed in this podcast do not represent the performance of the firm or any of its advisory clients. Returns do not reflect the impact that advisory fees will have on an investment. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. All investment strategies have potential for profit or loss. Different types of investments involve higher and lower levels of risk. There is no guarantee that a specific investment strategy will be suitable or profitable for an investor's portfolio. Historical performance returns for investment indexes and or categories usually do not deduct transaction and or custodial charges or advisory fees, which would decrease historical performance results. There are no guarantees that a portfolio will match or outperform a specific benchmark. Investments in fixed income products are subject to liquidity risk, market risk, index rate risk, credit risk, inflation risk, purchasing power risk, and taxation risk. Because bond prices fluctuate continually, their yields change constantly.